In John chapter 4, verses 15 to 18, Jesus' conversation with the woman at the well takes a very surprising turn. He's been talking to her about how the living water that he and only he can offer will satisfy the longing of the human soul. And although she's still processing that a bit, she says to him, "Well, give me some of that." And then out of the blue, he says to her in response, "Go call your husband." What? I mean, what did he just say? Why did he say that? What does that have to do with anything? And she says to him, "I'm not married." And his response was, "Yeah, that's right. In fact, you've been married 5 times, and the guy you're living with right now is not your husband." Oh boy. I don't think she wanted to have this conversation with Jesus, but she desperately needed to. She was caught, like so many of us, in a repetitive cycle of behavior that was at least unsatisfying and probably destructive. And just kept telling herself, well, I've made a mistake with this guy, but the next one, he'll bring satisfaction to my life. But of course, those pursuits never resolve the thirsting of our souls. I like to think of it as or refer to it as the broken record syndrome. Back in the ancient days of, vinyl records, if the platter would get scratched in some way, then the needle that would be traveling the grooves and reproducing the sound, when it would hit that scratch, would skip. And most often that meant it would just repeat that passage of music over and over and over and over again. And a lot of us know what that's like. We find ourselves unable to escape these patterns in our lives, these attempts to deal with stuff we don't even understand and can't seem to break free from. It's hard, I know, and we don't like to have to visit that dark place in our lives. But unless we're willing to let Jesus expose the roots of our bondage, unless we're willing to go there with him and let him speak truth to us about what's really going on in our lives, then his living water can't penetrate to that place. It can't get there. But oh man, on the other side of that very challenging conversation with Jesus that deals with the real issues of our lives, there is so much freedom, so much wholeness. Dear one, if you find yourself in that place where Jesus is wanting to take you to that place you don't want to go, I encourage you, have that conversation with him. Let him take you there.